In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to get your episodes found on Google, Apple, and Spotify. You could have the best podcast in your industry, but if nobody can find it, it doesn't matter. Today, I'm showing you the exact SEO strategies we use at our agency to get our clients' episodes ranking on Google, showing up on Apple search, and getting recommended on Spotify. Now, before we even start, what exactly is SEO? SEO is search engine optimization. I want you to think of it like a library, right? It's putting your book in front of the right people so that when people are searching for your book, they find it and they can access it. Okay? Now, most podcasters rely 100% on social media for distribution. You're promoting, and when they stop promoting, the podcast stop growing. That's leaving more than 70% of potential listeners on the table. So what are the first core essentials of podcast SEO or getting found on Google, Apple, and Spotify? One of the most important piece of the puzzle is your episode title. Think of them as your headlines, right? Your episode title is important for SEO. It's what shows up in search results on every platform. Now, I'm going to give you a formula, and I want you to stick with me. The formula is the primary keyword plus benefit or curiosity hook. That's one formula, right? The primary keyword plus benefits or curiosity hook. Okay? So I'll give an example of what I mean. Primary keyword plus benefits or curiosity hook. Okay. An example is, let's say you had an episode, right? It's email marketing for coaches. Okay, that's a keyword. And then what's the hook? How to write sequences that actually convert. So email marketing for coaches, how to write sequences that actually convert. Okay, so that's a really good title. Now, what you should not be doing with your episodes is titling it episode 34, Chat with Dave. Now, I'm looking at that episode. Great episode. I'm looking at it. It doesn't communicate the value of the episode. I don't even know what it's about. I don't even know Dave. And I'm like, episode 34, Chat with Dave. Like, zero keywords, zero benefits, zero clicks. Now, people that have been listening to your podcast before, they will trust you and they will just click on it because they're not really looking at the title. But for new listeners that don't really know who you are, the title doesn't really do anything. It's just there. Now, how do you research your keywords? How do you find keywords to use? Now, most of the time, people will tell you use this tool, use this stuff online. But the truth is, if you're in your industry, if you're a coach, if you're an author, people are already asking you the questions, right? So let's say you're a coach, you coach people on, what's an example of something you could coach? You could coach someone on let's go meta, how to start a coaching business. Yeah, how to start a coaching business. Now, if you're a coach, some of the questions that your clients ask you will be, how do I start a coaching business? How do I pick an offer? These questions that pop up because the tools that I'm going to recommend you use, these are tools that aggregate what actually humans are asking. And so you can use that. Clients ask you questions, take note of the questions they're asking. Right? Of course, relevant questions to the coaching industry, take note of it. And those can be your episode title. The other thing is, if you don't have clients yet, you could go to where your clients are talking about the industry or the topic, right? So if you coach coaches, you could go to a group for coaches and you see questions they're asking. They're like, how do I market my coaching offer? How do I onboard clients on the coaching? You get to see questions people are asking, and these are things you can make episodes on, right? But if you want to use a tool out there, what you could use is you could use Google, right? So you just search for your keyword on Google and it's going to show you an autocomplete, right? So when you search Google, you see those questions also asked. Another thing you could also use is you could use Google autocomplete, and you could use keyword tools like Uber Suggest, and there are many tools out there, but the best way is to ask your clients directly, talk to people, see the questions they're asking, and those should be your podcast episodes, right? Now, the other thing that most people do not utilize when it comes to podcast SEO is your show notes. Show notes rank. Show notes are optimized to give more details to humans and search engines what the episode is about. Now, your show notes is kind of a blog post. Most podcasters, they just write 2 sentences and that's it. Missed opportunity. The winning formula is to write about 100 to 300 words description with your target keyword in the first sentence, timestamp for key topics, links to resources mentioned, and a clear CTA, right? And then for the transcript, you can put in full episode transcripts on your website. Those create massive SEO value. Go indexes text, not audio. And then the transcript turns every episode into a searchable page. And you can also link to your other episodes. Now, optimizing every episode for search is time consuming but incredibly valuable. Our agency handles all of these keyword optimized titles, SEO show notes, full transcripts, and distribution strategy. If you want your podcast to be found, not just published, book a discovery call, link below. Now, each platform has a platform specific SEO. If you want me to make a screen share video showcasing this, let me know in the comments and I'll make that. Apple Podcasts, category selection matters. Review and ratings improve your ranking. You can ask for them strategically at the end of your best episodes. Spotify also have its own algorithm. Google also have its own algorithm. YouTube also have its own algorithm. So the question is, what is the workflow? The reason I love SEO is once you have the system, it no longer becomes an extra work. It just goes into the system of producing your episode. And every time you produce an episode, it comes out fully SEO optimized. So the first thing is, before recording, research your target keyword for the episodes, build the episode around that keyword, and ask yourself, how would someone find this episode? How would they search for it? Okay. And then when you come up with a title, ask yourself, based on this title, is it what the episode delivers on? Because you don't want to be using a title that has nothing to do with the actual episode. That's just clickbait. Okay. And then after recording, you write the SEO optimized title, you craft the keyword rich show notes, you generate and upload transcript, add timestamps and chapters, and you publish. Very straightforward something. Okay. The next thing you do is, at the end of the month, you review analytics, which episodes are getting organic search traffic, see the topics that are performing, see the ones that are underperforming, update titles and descriptions, and then know what to double down on, know what keywords to focus on. Now, the compound effect is that every optimized episode is a new entry point. After 50 episodes, you have 50 pages working for you 247. So that's like the high level explanation of how to get your podcast found. SEO is the difference between a podcast that grows on autopilot and one that relies on you hustling for every single listener. If you want every episode optimized for maximum discoverability, our agency builds this into every client's production workflow. Book a discovery call and let's make your podcast findable. Link in the description.